There are people who genuinely love you, and then of course there are those people who don't have your best interests at heart, and you have to learn to tell the difference between the two. It's true. You know, it takes an enormous amount of energy, as we were saying, to focus on your goals and get to where you want to go in life, and you have to surround yourself with people who inspire you and encourage you, and people who make you feel good about yourself. You have to get rid of toxic people who drain you, or who put you down, and they can destroy your life. And as I keep saying in this seminar, you don't have as much time as you think you have. You know, we all think, oh, I'm going to live forever. You're not. The clock is ticking. You do not have time. You have to live with a sense of urgency and get rid of energy vampires. Get rid of bad people in your life. You know, I'm a vintage movie buff. How many of you like old movies? How many of you watch Turner Classic Movie Channel? I'm addicted to that channel. I absolutely love it. You know, there's an old movie with Marilyn Monroe and Joan Crawford, a very unlikely duo. And Joan Crawford was one of Marilyn's very early movies, and she played her usual sort of blonde, naive self, and she asks Joan Crawford's character, she says, how do I find a good man? What makes the man good? How do I know if I have a good quality man? Now, of course, there are a lot of criteria to figure out who's a good quality man, but Joan Crawford tells her one thing, and I love this. Joan Crawford said, the way to recognize a good man is a man who gives you confidence in yourself. A man who gives a woman confidence is a good man, she said. In other words, she was saying stay away from people who make you feel bad about yourself. And this is fabulous advice. So how do you know who's toxic and who's not? Because as I say, some people have trouble knowing who their friends are and who their enemies are. One of the ways to tell is you have to ask yourself the question, who is 100% on my side? Who is rooting for me and rooting for me to live my best life and not jealous or competitive? Because there are a lot of people who are jealous and competitive, and then they're not happy if something good happens to you. They're not very happy about that. So you have to say, who's really happy for me? And another way to tell who your real friends are is, who do you always feel happier after visiting and not more depressed? Because, you know, sometimes you can feel in your gut, and we're going to talk about decision making and how to feel things with your gut a little bit later. But, you know, you visit someone and sometimes you just feel in the pit of your stomach, you feel depressed and you don't really know why. That may be an indication that these people are not your real friends, because real friends, you should be energized and happy after meeting. Now, when it comes to setbacks, toxic people, I always say toxic people are easy. All you do is get rid of them, say bye-bye, or limit, you know, if you can't get rid of them totally, limit your exposure to these people. Toxic people is an easy problem to get rid of. But what do you do when you have really heavy-duty problems? What do you do when life hands you things that are totally out of your control, like job layoffs? You're in debt and you suddenly lose your job. Or God forbid, someone in your family dies, or someone gets very ill, or you go to the doctor and he says, I'm sorry, madam, you have a tumor. You know, what do you do when life hands you really tough things? I'm going to give you some techniques on how to handle heavy-duty problems that are out of your control. These are scientifically proven techniques, and I think they'll help you a lot.